Hello, my friends. Greg Cloudmunzer here. And in this video, I want to talk about accelerating insights. So before I talk about accelerating insights, I want to talk a little bit about what insights are and why they're important and why they matter. Um, as human beings, we are equipped with insights. In fact, that's how we learn, grow, and change. And you could say it's the catalyst for transformation, change, and growth is insights. So why aren't people having more insights? Why aren't we noticing these insights? Well, it's typically because we have a lot of extraneous thought or compulsive thought or contaminated thought on the system. So you could say we're just buried by unproductive thought, for that matter. And so what people have discovered throughout history and throughout our time is that when a person's mind settles down, they seem to be more prone to insight. Okay, it's not required to have insights, but people tend to be more prone to having insights. You could say it's the perfect storm for insights when a person's mind is settled down. Okay, so many people who have kind of discovered this have looked for ways and methods and practices to settle their minds down. Well, one of the things that the principles offer, the three principles of mind, consciousness, and thought, one of the benefits of understanding the nature of the principles, and what I mean by nature of the principles is what these principles are pointing to, because the principles are not a thing, they're a pointer to something, to a deeper truth that is helpful when seen or understood by people. Okay, so like I said, people have kind of been onto the fact that a cluttered mind, a busy mind, a mind full of excessive thought or extraneous thought or contaminated thought or compulsive thought um, isn't the best breeding ground for insights and understanding and realizations. Okay, so that's kind of the backdrop with all this. Now, from a three principles point of view, there's really nothing to do to get insights. And the more we realize insights are available, we start to look for insights that have the power to change or transform our lives. Okay. And that typically is the byproduct of education and understanding. And through education and understanding the nature of mind, the nature of consciousness, the nature of thought, the sheer understanding or education, or what we like to say in the principles community, we're just describing the lay of the land. And through the description of how things work, people's minds naturally start to settle down. Okay, so that's kind of a principle-based approach to settling the mind down. And so people start to, when their minds settle down, you could even say that insights start to accelerate for them. Okay. Well, I want to now present or suggest something. It's kind of a metaphor. So, this metaphor is in the context of Zen Buddhism. Okay. So Zen Buddhism started off in the form of Soto Zen. And basically what Soto Zen would do is it would have practitioners sit in front of a wall and practice Zazen, okay? So they would do this over and over and over again. And, of course, the intention there is to build their concentration. And, the purpose is to move towards awakening or enlightenment, okay? Now, what would happen is that people would have insights and they would have cultivate a practice, and they become more mindful and more clear, and they would get the benefits of that practice. Well, after a while, someone had an insight, and it was in the Zen community. And the insight was human beings, we are these energy centers. And instead of sitting and meditating in front of a wall, the insight or the fresh idea of the times were what if we sat people in front of each other? So as they're looking within and contemplating or doing their own practice, their Zazen practice, that energy that was being cultivated, okay, um, was being mirrored by their partner. So in Renzai Zen, instead of uh, all the practitioners are lining up and facing the wall, uh, with this insight, they decided to line them up and have them practice in front of each other. And what they noticed is that the energy that was cultivated uh, by each individual, there was a synergy of those two people just sitting doing their own work. And what happened is they noticed that the awakening or the enlightenment really started to accelerate itself. So you could say Soto Zen, the insights were there, okay, and the understanding was there, and the enlightenment was there, but it was very slow. It was very slow. And then when Renzai came in and they decided to face each other in front of each other and take advantage of this energy and this life force that was being built out of a commitment to practice and having those energies make contact with one another, that those combined energies allowed the practitioner kind of a boost and elevated, gave them more energy to move through their barriers to awakening or their barriers to enlightenment. Okay. So the next evolution, if you will, okay, in awakening is through a communicating and contemplating practice. Okay, because what we've seen is when two people come together and that energy being built and using it to move through the barriers of the mind. What are the barriers of the mind? Well, the barriers of the mind are extraneous thought. Okay, it's getting mired under excessive thought, compulsive thought, misguided thought. And so in Renzai Zen, they had this energy and it helped them move through that. Okay. Well, the next evolution is when there was a discovery and insight by a gentleman named Charles Berner. And his insight and his fresh idea was, well, what if we took the Renzai practice and we put people in front of each other and we use that energy to build as they were contemplating and practicing and looking in the direction of truth, okay? And what if we added a communicating and relating practice, a contemplative practice and a communication practice? What would happen if we did that? So it was a great experiment. And what they found was, or what we've discovered, and I've been refining this for the last 15 years. And what we find is that the greatest barrier or interference for people waking up or dropping into deeper understandings or deeper truth is thought. Okay, thought congests the system. It's the barrier, if you will. So when two people come together and look within and look towards the direction of truth, there's a natural energy that builds between those two people that can be used for deeper truth and a lift in consciousness, if you will. Okay. Now, what happens is when a person communicates what's on their mind, all right, it's the quickest way to bleed off excessive thought on the system. Okay. So what I'm introducing people to is this two people coming together, sitting across from each other in a contemplative practice where they look within. In fact, they're looking in the direction of where the principles are pointing to. Okay. And and then they share whatever arises for them as a result of that. Okay. And this goes back and forth and back and forth. And what I'm finding and what I'm discovering, both within myself and the people that I share this with, is a natural accelerating of insights. Okay. So it's natural. People are becoming very, very insightful. It's very, very quick. And it's very simple to do. It simply takes two people with a sincere desire to look within, to do their own work, to see what they see, to enter into a reflective state, a contemplative state, and then authentically share and present what's arisen. And this goes back and forth and back and forth. There's several different instructions to put into this vehicle, this practice, if you will. But I'd love to share it with you. So the purpose of this video is just simply to introduce myself, introduce this notion that insight is really the catalyst to change and transformation, and that there's ways to speed that up. And we're discovering ways to speed that up that is really helping people be on a very, very steep growth curve. So if you'd like to learn more, or you'd like to set up a time to experience this for yourself, I'd be honored. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.